Alright, what's up, CL2? It's your fearless leader, Manziello here. Gonna talk a little bit today about the IPD mission. So, a while back, we've posted a guide for this mission, and basically the guide talks a little bit about what kind of requirements your squad needs, and basically some of the kill orders, but I'm gonna go through it today because I think it's probably the most helpful for people to see it in action. So let's go ahead and get started. So troopers are required here. Ideal lineup is definitely Stark. You need the TM bonus that he gives with the Omega on his special ability. So if we look at Stark here, basically one of the most necessary Omegas for him is going to be scan all wavelengths. So what happens here is that when you Omega scan all wavelengths, it gives Stark the ability to give 2 buffs instead of 1 when he goes. So what that does for you with the Veer's unique ability is it actually allows you to gain 20% turn meter initially if Stark gets to go first. So if we want to look at my modding here a little bit, my Stark isn't like amazingly fast. I guess my mods are kind of something that everyone gives me shit about because they're all pretty good. So 87 speed is something I consider kind of mid-range. I guess a lot of people would consider this fast. My Stark's 242 speed. I've got critical damage triangle on him. I have his potency really high. That's kind of accidental. He doesn't need it really, but that's to apply stagger more reliably to the enemies. And then I don't really have him stacked for too many offensive stats. He's got 5% crit chance, plus 125 physical damage. My Stark is gear 8. He's super expensive to gear, so I think that you can get by with him at low gear. I've actually 6 of 6 phase 6 combat or 4 of 4 phase 6 combat missions with my troopers with Stark at gear 8. So if you need to save some gear, I don't think Stark is really a character where it's necessary to gear him out to max. He adds damage to the squad if you do, but like I said, his gear is just super expensive. So most important, again, Omega, scan all wavelengths, definitely need that. And then Blizzard 4 Barrage is nice to have, but not totally necessary. So modding, I mean, you can see I've got 4 speed set, and then I've got potency on him. Nothing too terribly special, again, plus 87 speed. So let's look at some of my other troopers. For the final wave of this fight for CLS, I consider Death Trooper pretty much required. I've seen some videos of people with Gear 11 troopers who were able to do it without Death Trooper, but I don't really think that Death Trooper is something that you can really drop or afford to drop. He just adds way too much to this. I'll show you a little bit more with my Death Trooper modding. Death Trooper, you want crit chance, crit damage, your standard DPS set here. Mine's not terribly fast, plus 42 speed, but you can see that I've focused a little bit on his potency to bring him up to almost 60% potency. His potency helps him land his daze on his basic, and it's really important because his basic attack shoots twice against rebel enemies. So if you can land the daze initially, you can land a stun with the same attack, which is huge. Honestly, besides upping his critical chance, I really haven't done a lot offensively to his modding here. You can see that he's only at plus 215 speed, but he's at 60% critical chance, which is pretty huge. For Death Trooper, I mean, TIE Reaper is a meta ship right now, so I mean, if you can afford to Omega him out completely, I definitely would. The biggest 2 Omegas you're really going to want for this is going to be the Omega on Track Down. It's huge because he shoots twice against CLS and all the rebels, which means if you can land a daze on your initial shot, the second shot will stun the enemy. It's huge. You can stun lock down the bosses on the final wave of this mission. And then, Terminate is absolutely required for Death Trooper. The death mark that it applies absolutely devastates things, and we'll see that in the mission here. So I guess as far as priorities for Omegas go, you really need Stark's Omega that I outlined on scan all wavelengths, and then Terminate, and then Death Trooper's basic. Those are totally required. Let's look at Snow Trooper, who in my opinion is another mandatory character for this squad. The only Omega on Snow Trooper that I would say is probably obligatory is going to be Overwhelming Assault. And that's because every time you score a crit with Snow Trooper, it reduces the cooldown of this ability by 1. And basically against missions with 4 more enemies up, if you can land 4 crits, this ability is going to be able to reset constantly, and you're going to get a lot of damage out with this. This probably single-handedly carries some of my later Phase 6 combat missions when I 4 of 4 with troopers, just because this ability does so much damage and it breaks so many foresights and everything that are critical to stop. My Snow Trooper is gear 11. I think being one of your main offensive characters in this squad, he really needs to be geared up. I think you can do this mission with gear 10, most likely. And you can see some of my stats. Again, he's not terribly fast. I focus critical damage with him. I stacked crit chance. Honestly, when looking at this now that I'm making this video, I may have kind of fucked this up a little bit in that I feel like my Snow Trooper should probably have the crit chance that my Death Trooper has. I'm on his mod set right now. I should probably swap their mod set. You'll notice here my Snow Trooper has really high plus offense, 419. And so that's kind of his jam right now. Finally, let's move to what I would say you probably have to focus on gearing the most for this squad. I think the rest of the characters I've outlined here can get by between gear 8 and gear 10. I'd say Veers can be gear 10. Veers, when we talk about Veers here, mine is Zetaed. That makes a huge difference. So the Zeta both gives them survivability and gives them a shitload of turn meter gain every time they get a kill. It's huge for this game mode. This is one of the best Zetas in the game. I can say that with total authority. It's good in a shitload of different places because it's a unique and not a leader. You can throw Veers in with Shore Trooper and Death Trooper in, say, a Thrawn lead, for instance, and this will still work. So this Zeta is awesome for DSTB. This is going to propel your wave scores way up significantly. So definitely pick this up, guys. I run his leader here. His leader is good to Omega if you can. This leader, actually I misspoke earlier. This leader is what enables the Omega on the on Stark. So the Scan All Wavelengths Omega that gives you 2 buffs, this is what enables it because you get 10% turn meter whenever your allies get a buff. It's huge. Turn meter gain is even more impactful than speed. You could see that like back when we ran Zeta Maul lead, for instance, and they got 20% TM gain on dodge. So anyway, I've talked a lot here about this, guys. I'm just trying to give you guys kind of my general thoughts. But finally, one of the most important things you need for this squad, you need a geared tank. The tank can be Stormtrooper or Shore Trooper. If you're on a budget, I recommend that you run Shore Trooper because TIE Reaper is for sure meta right now. I mean, TIE Reaper absolutely wins you Fleet Arena here. You can see my gearing. It's not great. I'd like to get up to gear 12 with Death and Shore. I just haven't had the fun to do so right now. You can see that I'm pretty strapped for gear right now. I'm kind of saving it for some other people. But if you're going to gear someone to gear 11 or gear 12, it needs to be the tank for this mission. The reason is that we're going to encounter a lot of counterattacking units. Those counterattacking units are going to daze your troopers, and if your DPS trooper like Snow Trooper or Death Trooper gets dazed, they can't gain any turn meter from kills. It's going to cost you a lot of attrition in the first phase here, as we'll see, and that can really fuck you. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to go into TB. I'm going to start the Probe Droid mission and kind of talk you guys through it. So my squad again, Veers, Death Trooper, Shore Trooper, Snow Trooper, Stark. Let's go ahead and get started. So this is what I was talking about. My Stark here in this mission is going to go first. And I mentioned that Omega on Scan All Wavelengths. It's going to give me 2 buffs now because it's Omega. It's going to give critical chance up and crit damage up. You can see the TM on some of my squad members here. It's about at 80%. So Stark is about 10 to 20% faster than everybody, which is good. That's what you want. He went before all of the enemies here. Okay. So the initial thing we're going to want to do is to scan all wavelengths. That gives our troopers all damage up, and it also makes it so they can take another turn. So Stark has a free turn here, and what I'd recommend doing next, if you can, is that you really need to focus this Hoth Rebel commander. He buffs their squad and makes all these other enemies super strong. The thing you want to watch out for here is counters. We've got a taunt up on Shore Trooper right now, so I'm pretty certain that all the counters are going to go to Shore Trooper. If you were not running Shore Trooper and you're running Storm Trooper here, rather than doing what I'm about to do, which is the Blizzard 4 Barrage and AoEing, I would highly recommend that you instead use one of your undergeared characters to do AT-AT Assault on the Hoth Rebel commander. Our goal here is to kill this guy as quickly as possible because he's going to get Foresight and other units are going to start taunting for him, etc., and it's going to be a real pain in the ass to kill him. So I'm going to do Blizzard 4 Barrage right now. I only staggered one person. You'll see the counterattack that I got hit with there. And then what I'm planning to do here now is to AoE with Veers, right? So Ruthless Assault, I'm going to have a chance to ability block their whole team before they can take any more turns. And our goal here is to also pop the stagger on this elite, on this Hoth Rebel Scout elite, because that should remove his turn meter as well. So let's go ahead and shoot this off. Once he gets low, he got stunned there. So that was really good. I removed the turn meter and ability blocked this scout. The other units took shots at my Shore Trooper but didn't do anything because he's taunting. Now he's going to go ahead and go. He's going to taunt again, and we're going to give crit immunity to the whole squad. So now that he's crit immune and he's taunted, we can just go freaking ham here with the Snow Trooper, because the Snow Trooper can AoE, and if there's counterattacks, they're just going to hit a crit immune Shore Trooper. So shoot. He gets countered. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier about AoEs, and if you don't have the tank taunting, you don't want to AoE, because you'll notice that one of our troopers, one of our enemies here, counterattacked, and I think it's the soldier that dazed Shore Trooper. So with the daze, he's not going to be able to get any TM. Since he's already taunting and he's crit immune, that's fucking awesome. He's just going to sit here taunting the whole time, while the rest of the DPS in our squad takes a ton of turns. If you didn't have a taunt here, that counterattack could have gone to our Snow Trooper, which means he's getting no TM gain when he's dazed, and this squad has no cleanse. So you would have significantly gimped yourself here. So next move here, let's take a quick look at what we've got. We've got some critical characters ability blocked here. Scouts are ability blocked. This is a non-elite soldier. I don't really care about him right now. And another non-elite soldier. These guys will die in the next Snow Trooper AoE. So with that in mind, I'm looking here at my board, right? And I'm thinking, what's my biggest threat? And my biggest threat right now is the commander. And the commander has a daze on him, right? We don't have any kills, so we can't deathmark to kill anyone. Let's stun this guy. So I used Death Trooper to stun. Some other units took their attacks. What should we do here? So Stark doesn't have any abilities up right now. We could basic attack with him, but remember that my Stark is gear 8. He does shit for damage with his basic. I think he's a great candidate to use the AT-AT Assault on. We're just going to kill the commander. All right, so the commander's down. You'll notice that since we got so many crits with Snow Trooper, his AoE is up again. We still got the taunt from Shore Trooper. So we're going to attack again. That's going to kill one. All right. And then now if your squad was less geared than mine, I mean, I think it would be safe here to use the death mark on Death Trooper to try to secure some kills and take less damage. But honestly, because most of my troopers, except for Stark, are gear 11, I'm not really threatened by anybody that's left here. I'm just going to start eliminating people. So looking at TM here a little bit, I think the safest thing right now is to limit this soldier because he's about to go. So I'm going to shoot him. Killing him gave my entire squad, as you can see, like 80% turn meter. So that's gravy. This guy was going to go next if we look at the TM. So I'm gonna finish him off with Stark. And Stark has his cooldowns almost up now. Let's save this for the CLS boss wave. All right. So we're going to go ahead and look here. I'm looking to finish off this wounded scout, I think. I'm just going to basic attack. And then I'm going to basic attack with Snow Trooper to kill this guy. So we only have 1 unit left. We're pretty much all at full turn meter. Shoot this guy. Kill him off. All right. So we're going to move on to the boss wave. This is what gives a lot of people a shitload of problems. So this is a Rolo lead, guys. All right. Rolo lead is going to give them tenacity up, and Rolo lead is going to give them TM when they resist shit. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. But your biggest threat here at this point is Captain Han Solo. He's going to res. He's going to swap, and he's going to basically give protection to CLS and to Leia. And you don't want to hit CLS when he is not in offensive mode, because he's just going to counterattack the shit out of everybody, and he's also going to put buff immunity on your shore trooper, so your shore trooper won't be able to do anything. So I think the safest bet here, you can notice that my shore trooper is about to go. I want to give my squad crit immunity, because if CLS crits one of my guys, they're going to get basically they're going to get wrecked, because CLS can hit here for up to 10 to 20,000 damage. So my biggest priority target at this point is going to be killing this Captain Han Solo. Looking at what I've got right now, some of my units don't have full turn meter, so I'm going to scan all wavelengths to give myself crit. That crit, those 2 buffs, gave me 20% turn meter, which put almost everyone at full turns. So now I'm going to start working on attacking down this Captain Han Solo. Notice there that when he got debuffed, he got Foresight and he got TM. So that's the Rolo lead in action. So that's one thing you really got to be careful about here. Fortunately, being stunned right now, the Foresight wasn't working there. So that was fantastic. I'm just going to work to finish him off. So good news. Commander Luke Skywalker went into offensive mode, which means that his counterattacks aren't going to affect us anymore. So what I'm going to work on doing now is finishing off Captain Han Solo here. So Short Trooper has buff immunity, which really sucks, and he can't taunt right now, but fortunately we have crit immunity on the rest of the squad, and Captain Han Solo is about to die. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and I'm just going to keep the TM gain going here with buffs. So what I'm going to do next is work on killing Rolo. And since I have the gear here, guys, and since Luke is in offensive mode, I'm going to death mark him. Normally, if you're under geared, I think the better play here would probably be to use the basic attack that applies the daze and the stun on him, and stun lock him down and then work on Rolo. But I'm going to go ahead and death mark CLS there. You can see it did a shitload of damage. And then I'm just going to call an assist and kill him off real quick, because I don't want him alive anymore. Now we just have Rolo left. She really is useless for the most part. So we're going to kill her. And that's it, guys. That's the mission. Follow some of my recommendations that I gave as alternates in the video if you're less geared. For instance, if you didn't have quite as tanky of a short trooper as I do, you're going to want to play this a little bit more carefully. You're probably not going to want to go for the death mark on CLS immediately unless you feel really confident. I would recommend killing the Rolo next. But since Luke was in offensive mode there, and since he had already attacked, I feel pretty safe to go ahead and do what I did. So let me know if you guys have any questions. That's the IPD mission. Enjoy the 2 shards that you're earning for our guild. And we're going to have some fucking fun blowing up noobs in territory war with this Imperial probe droid. Talk to you guys later.